It is time for the Boston Major. Another, well, new face on the desk, but also we've got ourselves a very brisk Boston morning to get ourselves locked inside and start playing some video games. Indeed, it is Dota 2, and I am a bit of a mystery to a lot of you guys at home. I'm your host, Alex Machine Richardson, and it is time for introductions. Joining me on the panel, of course, I did say it's cold. Who better than winter to start us off?
Hello.
Hey,
That's
dude.
good. Good.
That was good. You see that? Look at that. I've broken the ice. Just keep going. Keep going. We were actually just talking about Frozen. We were saying we like the film. And I say that, of course, Ted is joining me as well. He likes cartoons. How you doing, man?
I knew there was some subterfuge to that conversation.
There was.
I said I didn't like The Lion King. I stand by that statement. I apologize, everybody.
What?
But I'm
Disgusting.
sorry.
Disgusting.
You
Okay,
know,
what do you think of the music of The Lion King?
it makes me want to puke.
Oh my god.
I mean, what better song to sing when you're about to go ahead and introduce yourself to a new community than It Means No Worries for the, Hakuna Matata. That's a perfect song.
No.
And of course, Shiva has yet to be introduced. We all know her. Great to have you on the show. You feeling good? You feeling prepared, ready to rock?
Yeah, I'm feeling so hyped for this major. I think it's going to be an amazing show.
It should be an amazing show. And what's so awesome about this is a little bit of a unique experience. Not only for myself, but also we have never witnessed this experience here in Dota where we've got the TI and then it feels like you blink your eyes and you open them and you're in Boston and it's happening all over again. This is a new experience, Winter. Are you feeling, I don't want to say hyped, but are you feeling like this is something that this could definitely cause some surprises?
Yeah, single limb. Anything can happen. Anyone can win.
Feeling fresh as well on the end. I do have to say, I don't think I could rock lime, but you are, Ted.
Lime?
That's lime.
This is mint.
There's mint. Yeah.
Okay, let me have a close up. It's quite minty.
Mint.
It's
Okay.
mint.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
thought
green.
Boston, green.
Yeah.
You know, the
I
background.
didn't even think about that.
I tried to just be consistent in the color of my shirt.
Okay, well, talking of consistent, hopefully we can start talking a little bit about how the Dota scene has, well, been since, of course, TI. That seems to be our general bookmark, usually. And usually we expect a huge shift, a big change. And I guess there's been a change on this desk as well.
Yeah, there has been a change in this desk. Machine, I heard you had a very warm welcome when you came into Boston. We actually have a video of that as well. We got it on tape.
Welcome to Boston, huh? What's up, bro? Get out of here, huh? You think you can join the Dota community, huh? We're a selective community, bro. Open up his luggage, Mousetrick. What do you got here? Oh, that's not. Oh, that's nice, huh? You trying to ace my community? I don't think so, bro. What? We gotta. Okay, open it up. Is it locked? We're checking out his real guy. Check him out. We wanna check his stuff. We're taking you. Let's go. Let's go. Time to prove your worth. You ain't gonna chicken my community. So this is Boston, huh? Open it up. Open it up. Open up his luggage. What's inside? Throw it around. What's a nasty bucklet? Yeah. Well, really? Open it up. What are you doing? Huh? You dropping your phone? Go. Show us what's inside. You ain't gonna win me over. Dota's your daddy now, baby. Open your shit. Open it up. What do you got here, huh? He's talking British. What's he saying? I don't know what he's saying. He's talking British talk. Probably 007 because he's British. What is this, a Counter-Strike bomb, huh? Let's have a look. Open it up, huh? Who's your daddy now, huh? Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Get him, Mousetrix. Search through it, Mousetrix. What's this? What do you do, huh? You think you can come in here in our community and take it over? We're gonna see if you're working. We're gonna interview. Look at this, boss. You, sir, are exceptionally handsome. Look, can you believe this kind of arrogance? You are pretty goddamn handsome. I'll give you that, but you ain't winning me over yet. Beauty products, lots of them, boss. Look how many beauty. That's a lot of beauty products. Okay, that's enough, Mousy. Close it up. We're gonna interview. We're gonna interrogate you. Don't worry about your shit. We'll go. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Well, that's beautiful.
Sorry, we're out of joke.
Thank you. Yeah, welcome. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Hey, Machine, sorry, it was my idea.
It was nice.
That was an intense start to my day.
How are you, man?
I'm good, thank you.
No butterfly, we didn't find him, got it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was sitting there like, what if there was a giant sex toy on top of this?
That's what I said. That was
That's what the toothbrush was. The best part was the security card trying to pop. It's like a real
What's
security
happening?
card.
What's happening? We'll catch up later.
You're dropping my phone, you're dropping your
Yeah, what happened? I'm so sorry. All right.
That's my bad. Where am I going?
Okay, let's go to the lobby.
Yeah.
You're not even in the lobby. This is the lobby.
Yeah. Yeah, so that happened, and that's an intense zoom. Wow, okay, I should have probably put a little bit more foundation on my face. Yeah, that was so I haven't really kind of got to grips with Slacks yet.
I don't think anybody has. So you know, join the club.
Like, I mean, I'd seen him on the internet, watched a couple of videos. I just want to clarify that was genuinely me coming out of the taxi from the airport.
Yeah, no, that was he did say afterwards. He said, "Oh, you should see the bit we just did with Alex. We literally mugged him coming into the lobby." I was like, and he said the security guard was saying, "What are you guys doing?" Like he couldn't believe it. They didn't even tell the hotel staff they were about to mug him. So,
and they just let it happen too.
Yeah. He was just standing there going, "They're mugging this guy right in the lobby. I can't believe he didn't pile in."
What's so crazy is that he's sitting there with his hands crossed, and there's camera crew watching someone steal someone's suitcase, and he's just like, "Oh, I guess this is okay. Yeah, I'm okay with this."
I mean, I must say you were surprisingly calm for everything.
Well, I mean, when someone kind of opens up your suitcase and there isn't, some sort of horrible sex toy on top of it, you feel good. I would have packed a bit neater though, and I do think I look good in that flat cap.
Yeah.
I think I could pull that off.
Good, pull that off.
Yeah.
The Boston look.
The Boston look, except I don't like his accent. Anyway, moving on. Of course, that's not an insult to Boston accents, just Slacks' awful attempt at one. We can actually move into the Dota discussion, the Dotes. Let's start addressing a little bit about, well, first of all, how the scene has moved and transitioned since TI, because, I mean, for the first time ever, we are still on the same patch, or thereabouts, of course, slight alterations, but we've had a major tournament, huge tournament, and we have had that roster shuffle, so we've got so much change to address, and I think I'll start with you, Shiva, here. Mm-hmm. If you could just outline how much of a roster shuffle there has been, because there's very few teams attending here that have actually got the same roster that we saw at TI.
Yeah, I think that's only Wings.
Just
if you're talking about that.
Perhaps Ad Infinitum?
At Finum as well. Yeah,
okay.
They haven't changed for a while, but they didn't play in TI, and they are like they're the underdog. But more about Ad Finum later. I think the biggest roster shuffle, like everybody shuffled, like apart from Wings and the few exceptions that we mentioned, everybody shuffled like 2 to 3 players. I think the biggest one and the biggest successful one is EG. You got yourself, Arteezy's back, you got Zion there, you got Kritten there, and all of them have played together in the past, and they have been doing amazingly well as well. And they're just, it seems like they just picked up where they left off, and that's kind of unique.
I think if you're losing like PPD and Fear, that's such a huge hole. Like that is crazy. They were like the EG guys for such a long time. So to get players of that level in to replace them, I think they'll do well.
Do you consider it losing, or not quite as much as normal losing, because they are still sticking around?
Of course,
right? Management, coaching.
Yeah. But it's not. They're not on the field.
A change. I would say, like sometimes you need change to improve.
But even when things are looking quite bright, I mean, this seems to happen quite a lot. You've even seen teams win TI and make changes, right? So I mean, this has happened as well. Winter, is there any roster shuffle that caught your eye alongside EG, or was that the main takeaway for you?
I mean, I think like they said, the best one, EG, and OG seem like, even though they swapped players, but they seem like the same team because they played in the same manner.
Right.
I mean, it's a bit weird to say. I mean, they had 3 players shuffled out, but the team still looks the same. Like to me, like the way they play is still very much the same.
I think in terms of the Western scene, they are the only team that picked up a player that was like not known to anybody before coming in. Anna obviously coming in with a lot of history in terms of doing well at MMR and being, a super high profile player, but he wasn't actually on a profile team, or rather on a high profile team, and he
when I was researching about him, I was like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
And I looked at my Steam friends list. Wait, why is he on my friends list?
No.
I'm serious. Like,
so you're just playing with him?
He played in C server and he added me, and I didn't actually know it was the same guy.
Did you flame him, Winter, when you played with him?
I don't remember.
I bet you did.
Yeah, there's probably like really bad blood between the two. Some nasty MMR. All right, let's go ahead and start talking a little bit about what is actually happening here. 16 teams are attending here in Boston, and we can bring them up now to put them on your screens. 8 invites and 8 qualified teams. And what's so exciting about this is, yes, the invited teams did raise a couple of eyebrows, but also there's a lot of qualified teams who can pack a punch. So Winter, starting with you in this one, invited teams. You have got some, I don't want to say strong opinions, but you certainly have your own opinion regarding the invites and, of course, the 8 teams we see in that category.
Yeah, I think a lot of the teams that work their way to qualify to the events are, as strong as the teams that got invited. And I was talking to you yesterday about, I personally felt invited teams, the number of invited teams should be toned down.
You'd rather they all have to work for it. I mean, some of those, Shiva, just make perfect sense, right? You look at the Wings, your OG, EG. These are invites you understand.
Even with the roster shuffles, the players that were shuffled in also did well at TI generally. So they have that level of play that is expected of them to be an invited team. But there are 8 invited teams, and are there really 8 teams that over the course of like 5 to 6 months have proven to be an invited team? Maybe, as Winter said, maybe 8's too much, but I do think that the selection of teams that we have is really good, and the level of skill is really high.
I mean, that's the beauty of the qualifier as well, is we've got some very, very big dogs from that qualifier.
Yeah.
I mean, Ted, it would be foolish not to mention VP at this instance, right?
Yeah. I mean, Shane and I cast some of their games in the qualifiers, and we were like, they look really good. They look really, really good
Like
in the qualifiers. I didn't see them at the summit, but I know everyone's saying that they crushed it.
Yeah.
So they are the form team. But we saw form teams going into TI that we were expecting to do a lot better than they did. So I honestly think the thing is, you turn up to a tournament, especially single elim, like Winter said, anything can happen. Like, I don't think there's much point picking a favorite. You can pick the teams that you think will do well, but I mean, I like I said, I think Wings will win because they're different gravy. But we'll see.
Different gravy.
Yeah.
I love this. We've got 2 British bookends on the desk, and I think about 4% of the viewers actually understand what on earth we're talking about most of the time. We can now address the structure, because that's different as well. Lots of change going on, both in rosters and in the tournament itself. And again, yes, the invites may have raised an eyebrow, but so has the structure. Things have shifted. And before we even get to the Wang Theatre, we're going to be taking a GSL format approach. Now, I know that we've all looked at the Wikipedia page and tried to understand exactly the definition there. I'm no stranger to it, of course.
I think the summary they've got there, best of 3, I wish that was the page that just explains it. Because the GSL page in Wikipedia is about 20 screens long.
It is.
And it's extremely detailed. And when, like, I was saying to Cap, I said, Cap, what the hell does GSL mean? Because I had to look it up. He says, I did the same thing, and I panicked. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. So it is a lot simpler than it looks.
It is so much simpler. Shiva, you did a TLDR for everyone at home.
Mini double elimination bracket. There you go. That's really it.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Leading into
a single elimination bracket.
Yeah, so we will not be losing any teams over the first 2 days. It's simply for seeding, coming into the playoffs, which is single elimination. So that's scary. And of course, could be spelling trouble for EG. We'll talk about that later. Now, though, let's start bringing up those brackets. We talked about them. Now you can see them. Not everyone will meet everyone. That is, of course, the case. This is how it's going to be working. You can see the first games of the day. We get Wings versus Winter's Buddies Warriors. We get DC versus LGD, Newbie versus MVP, and Virtus.pro versus NP. And these are all played simultaneously, so do be sure and do not panic. You will be able to see all of these games broadcast on the various streams. We'll be jumping into VP, NP, but I mean, all of these games, Winter, have got a reason to be excited. Perhaps maybe Wings Warriors could be a one-sided affair?
And everyone is going to expect Wings to win, but I know Warriors, they are a team that are very strong from C region. They are mostly new players. They are young and they are hungry.
I'm actually hungry. I haven't had breakfast yet.
Did you not?
No. Did you
Maybe they didn't have breakfast. Maybe that's the key.
I could use a good bagel or something.
I had a bagel.
Did you?
I had a bagel as well.
They take a very long time to toast in those
do.
toasters. Anyway,
back into the action. Of course, DC and LGD are in that group as well. It wasn't Group A that turned the most heads, though, because, of course, it is Group B. It seems to have been known by many as the group of death, and I'll let Shiva explain exactly why this one is so intimidating.
Okay, so Virtus.pro, we already talked about that, right? That's the team to look at in terms of favorites coming in for a lot of people. Then you got Newbie and MVP, and MVP is a big question mark. They haven't really played any matches at all in terms of on LAN. They have switched in for Rev, and at first they put him on the safe lane carry, and everybody thought, well, maybe they don't look that hot, and then they put him back on offlane. He's playing offlane again in this tournament, at least as far as we are aware. They might switch it about depending on the draft as well. And MVP, I talked a little bit to Moon yesterday, and he's like, oh, they're scary. They're back to previous MVP. They're going to pick your run at your heroes and just go for 5 melee cores, or 5 melee heroes rather, and just crush you. So they look scary. Newbie looks scary in a lot of the scrims, and I think Group B is good, but it's also good to be in the hardest group.
Why?
Why?
Yeah, tell me why.
Okay, so
you don't meet the strong opponents again, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So you have all your strong opponents in Group B.
Yeah.
You face them once, you get to practice against them, which, for a lot of teams, they do like the learning curve. So in that case, it's good. And you don't meet them in the first round.
You don't meet Wings in the single elim first round.
I mean, that's it.
You don't,
Winter, you said to me, you were like, oh, yeah, but okay, no one gets eliminated in the first groups. But, I mean, going against Wings straight into single elimination is something that no one is interested in doing, absolutely. But, of course, there are 2 other groups that are going to be coming up tomorrow. We're going to give you a quick glance at them. We'll be taking a closer look tomorrow, but you can have a little look. We will be seeing EG and Complexity clash.
The clash of NA Dota.
Yes, indeed. They don't get a chance to really warm up before they do have that domestic affair. And then we get Faceless and LGD as well. Of course, LGD are stepping in, given the loss, and of course, the visa problems that Execration did encounter. And then we venture into D. We can bring that one up as well. 4 groups, and we do get some big names there.
I mean, eHome at Finland.
Yeah, eHome
that would be so hype.
Why is this one going to be hype, Winter?
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Just because I think he was.
Yeah, go ahead.
He highlighted it. I want to know.
Go ahead.
No, I just feel like Adfinan have a lot to prove. They finally made it after so many attempts, close shaves, qualifying to a major event. And this is the event, their first match. And I feel like, again, same with Warriors Gaming. They're a very hungry team.
And in Finham, I mean, this is a team that you've already said, Shiva, the first thing that words out your mouth were like, this is going to be an exciting.
I think that everybody everybody that also watched the qualifiers is going to follow Ed Finham.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the team to watch.
Yeah, we watched them in qualifiers. I think me and Shane even cast a few of theirs as well.
Yeah,
And they looked good. I mean, they did. They were like, these lads have got a chance. Like, they were good. And you know what? Slacks was doing a bit with them the other day, an interview and chatting to them, and they were totally excited. They were out. They were really up and fired up. And like, I expect them to be kind of in their shells and a bit nervous. They were not. So I hope, for their sakes, that they can carry that over into the game and play without fear, because they're a good team.
I mean, their carry player is in my opinion, one of the best new carries in Europe. Like,
They've got
he's
a
really
shot.
underrated.
Yeah.
Madeira.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And many of them used to be London Conspiracy, or some of them used to be London Conspiracy. So I'm claiming them as a UK team. Go
Wow.
out.
We'll go for that, sure. Anyway, moving into our first game of the day, it's about that time. We've highlighted it already. We will be covering VP versus NP, and this should be explosive. Virtus.pro have turned everyone's attention, and so have NP, a group of buddies doing damage. And I think the first question we have to ask, when you look at these two teams on paper, Winter, is do you genuinely believe that Virtus.pro are as hyped as people are making them out to be?
Yes.
They are. They live up to that hype.
Yes, I think VP are extremely strong right now, and they are one of the hot favorites of the tournament.
And so then, of course, on the other foot, I give you the harder one here, Shiva. NP got their work cut out for them.
So I think NP, when we see them play, and I mean, they did really well at the Northern Arena Beat. They came second. But I think, and they lost against Wings, everybody loses against Wings, so that's fine. But NP, I think their biggest enemy is themselves. They have a tendency to like, okay, they do really well, right? And then they go high ground, and then one person, I mean, I won't specify who it is, but one person will go a little bit too deep, and then everything crumbles on each other.
Let's bring that one person's face up alongside four other people.
No,
let's do it.
You couldn't. I bet you don't know who it is.
Well, we can bring up all five. Let's bring up Team NP, and then you can actually see that face smiling at us.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Envy is a unique character. He is one of the best carries, and definitely at Shanghai Major, he was amazing.
He can be one of the best carries and one of the worst carries on the same day.
Yes, it is.
But how he's playing carry. He's the one position,
mid.
right?
I mean, back when he was playing carry.
Yeah.
Core. Let's call it core.
Core role.
And also, I think we need to highlight Rose and his particularly non-Rose-like hair.
It's washed out because of the green screen, I think.
He's gone full Tintin.
It is much brighter than that.
At the moment, because he used to be, or rather a month ago, it was like light rose.
Okay.
But for this event, he has gone neon pink.
Yeah, he has. It's
so
very, very pink.
If we will see him on camera later on, because we will have those players.
He's probably furious right now. He's like, I am not a bright orange hair. That is not care. I'm not what's it hair. That's another one for the UK people.
Cheetos for America.
Well, I mean, we are describing NP and some of their characteristics. What better way than showing you? Slacks took a couple of moments to talk to NP ahead of this game, so let's go ahead and take a look.
Hello. I am Professor Ish Capel, Dota 2 psychologist. I'm here with MSS and SVG from Team MP. Welcome, gentlemen. We're going to get down to some of the things that might be holding you back, in my opinion, try to unravel your minds a bit. I'd like to talk to you about Rose. Rose, if it were. Your teammate, how does he make you feel? Tell me about him. Angry. Those feelings, yeah.
It makes me laugh.
Makes you laugh. So I'm feeling a lot from this from your team. So before we begin, I'd like to do some things before Rose gets here. First off, you see in front of you some paper, some pens. I would like you to draw Rose as an animal. What he represents, what kind of animal he would represent to you. Be it a fearsome tiger or a lovely cuddly teddy bear. Okay. Go ahead and draw. Don't worry, he won't see these. This is a safe place.
I already regret my drawing.
You're fine. And we're not here to judge. Just any animal.
This is pretty easy.
What does he represent to you?
How do you draw it?
I can't tell you how to draw. Only your heart can tell you how to draw.
This is right, guys.
It is right. Anything that you put on that paper will be right, MSS.
What the?
Please, do not look at his. Do not look at his.
That was scarring.
Do not look at his paper. This is.
Mine's getting bad, but that is.
Oh shit, I fucked up the tail, guys.
Did you? Or did you make it perfect? Very good. You're taking a very long time. All right.
I don't know what this guy is.
Very good, very good.
What the fuck is that, dude?
Okay, so let's not judge here. This is a no judge zone.
Yeah, Mojo Judge style.
Now, before we begin, I would like to call in a special guest. Could you come in, please? That's right. I did fabricate something. This is a trust zone, but it's important to break these barriers between us. Hello. We have some pictures here for you. First, this. What does this mean to you?
I don't know. It says the word pink on it.
Yes.
I can only think of a flamingo.
Exactly.
Very good. Now, a flamingo. There are many colorful creatures, peacocks, etc. Why a flamingo in particular?
I mean, do you see his hair?
I do.
That's the first thing I think of.
But there are more than just hair on flamingos. You see, this is subconscious coming out. Flamingos are only the color of what they eat. You know? They're birds. And they have tall legs.
Yeah, sort of.
It is true. It is actually true. So I believe, in your case, pink represents friendship. He eats friendship. He is the representation of friendship, of love, of heart. I believe that you might, to him, be the heart of the team. It's very good. We have a picture here. What does this mean to you?
I don't know. That's very hard. The other one was much easier.
Yes, it was much easier.
It's got like some black stripes or something.
I'm gonna give you some hints here. It looks like yes, it's a horse with black stripes. Is that correct? Did you draw zebra?
Got it.
Very good. Why zebra?
I have no idea.
Do you not have an idea?
Something about Theban that just emits this vibe of galloping across the plains. You know?
Did you know that the zebra
He's a free spirit.
is one of the only types of horses that cannot be tamed? It's a wild horse. It's a horse that cannot be restrained. I think that's why he drew you as a free zebra, because you cannot be contained.
Wow.
It's beautiful. All right, we're going to do some association here. I'd like you to take a look at this image and tell me what you see. Go ahead.
Blob.
Blob.
It's an octopus.
That could be Bane.
Octopus.
Octopus and what?
Bane?
Bane.
Yeah.
It's very good. One man thinks about Dota nonstop. The other fears what's beneath. I forgot what you said. You said a blob. All right, only a few more. This one's very complicated. What does this mean to you?
Can I skip my turn? What? Just come around.
I'll come around to you. SVG, what does this mean to you?
The sheep are being led to slaughter or something?
Interesting, interesting. MSS?
I mean, the sheep is smiling, but there's rage pouring on him.
Yes.
So, does that mean no matter how optimistic you are, you're still gonna get shit on?
To you it does. And that's what's most important. For you.
How do you know that picture's an upside down?
What?
The sheep
I don't
radio
know,
on
man.
top.
It just looks like two trees put together. It doesn't even look like sheep.
That's very interesting. Two trees, an animal being led to slaughter, and an animal that never wins, no matter how happy he is. This is all very revealing. I have one more for you, and then you're free to go. Gentlemen, I'd like you to tell me what this means to you. What does
Like Jackie Ball.
looks like?
I think that's Jackie Bell too.
That's the first thing that came to mind.
All right,
Why is there a dot?
that is a question. What does this mean to you?
I have no idea. I'm guessing Jackie Mao drew it though.
Very well. All right, well, gentlemen, I have to say, my analysis of your team is that you're in very healthy condition. You believe that this is a free-willed spirit who transcends love and friendship. You believe that no matter how good things get, you're always going to get shit on, but that's okay. You like zebras. Overall,
Yes.
I think you're in very good shape and you're ready to do well at the Boston Major. Thank you for joining me, and best of luck to you all. Thank you.
I still think that looked like a llama. That was not a horse. That's my first statement.
He's
here.
drawn under pressure. Give him a break. It was a zebra. If he says it's a zebra, it's a zebra. You can't criticize another person's artwork.
Come on,
Trust me.
they are Dota players. They don't draw.
I think the most important thing though is the pink hair is because he's the heart of the team.
Yeah.
Oh, the flamingo.
If you have a pink heart, I think you should see a doctor. I don't think it's meant
This is
to be.
true,
That was,
but-
white
that was
pink.
absolutely wonderful. I enjoyed that a lot. Much love to Slacks, but we do have to get the show on the road and start talking about who on earth is going up against NP. It is, of course, VP. Just change one letter, and we can go ahead and bring up the Virtus.pro squad. It's very intimidating, and a lot of players are expecting big things from them here in Boston.
I think Virtus.pro is so scary, and they don't look very scary, you know?
What are you talking about? Look at they folded their arms, Sheep.
That was
Yeah, but they're-
intimidating.
okay,
If
so-
someone does that, that means they're going to tear your head off.
So look at Nine Pasha. He's like, you know, I'm just standing here. He's
Yeah,
just,
but
you know,
look
the
at Lil.
only
Lil
one.
looks like
okay,
he's flexed.
but he doesn't have his arm crossed. But Lil is the scariest.
yeah.
I would say.
Oh, he's the guy that buys mangoes all the time. I don't think he's scary
He only buys mangoes at the end of the game
when they win.
when they win, so that nobody knows what items he won with. It is very, very annoying.
Yeah.
As
Yes.
if you want to research things, then yeah, that is not great.
Yeah, I mean, but what's interesting as well is you saw both Ramses and Lil were rebellious, and they're probably
Yeah.
two names, Ted, if I talked about VP, you'd be first to mention as well, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they look relaxed, like a team that's in form. I think that's good. I think you either want a team that's hyped up, like we were talking about Ad Finum, and ready to deliver, or you want a team that's in form and confident, relaxed, and knows their roles. And VP definitely fit that bill.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
thing special about this team, their youngest player on the team is actually drafting for them.
Yeah, Ramses.
You don't see that
Um,
often.
What is he? 17 now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, so does it usually a positive correlation between age and
Yeah,
draft?
you trust experience
Sure.
over just
usually.
enthusiasm, I think. But
Makes
but
sense.
I mean,
Yeah.
if he's doing good drafting, then let him do it. I mean, I think that's that's kind of its meritocracy kind of thing. If he's good, let him do it, and it's working.
Well, one of the other individuals we want to address is, of course, the featured matchup. We've chosen one from either side to put them up against each other and explain exactly why. These are the players to watch. I grilled my analysts, and they came up with two names. It was Aoi and Ramses. I'm going to start, of course, by throwing this one over to the least frowning person member on the desk. We did actually talk about mid lane, I admit. I was expecting different faces, but I'm glad Ramses has popped up just because
Yes.
we have just addressed both his age and already the amount of success that he has found.
Okay, so normally people in a carry position, like generally speaking, are not the captain.
Right.
They are the ones to maybe
Hey.
captain later on. Oh, there we go. But talking about no one, I think Winter yesterday, you said he is the best mid player in the CAS, scene, hands down.
I think he's like by far like right now the best mid in CIS. He was like pretty underrated before, but right now I think no one can argue the fact that how skilled he is in the mid lane.
Yeah.
How does he compare as well? I mean, from my research, it seems that no one is seen to have a very versatile hero pool. In terms of Eternal Envy, is that something that he can kind of match up with Winter?
They're both very different, I think. One person is extremely skilled and capable of carrying the game on himself like no one.
Okay.
But when Envy plays the mid role right now, he plays to cater for the team. If the team needs this hero in mid lane, even though his matchup might be bad in terms of 1v1, but they're still going to pick the hero because it's for the team. He's more like a team player right now.
A team player who can be incredibly hot or incredibly cold. I mean, I feel like that's an attribute you usually give to perhaps someone like who's an explosive player.
Yeah. Well, Envy normally is, he'll never absolutely dominate his lane unless he gets some help from outside.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
But the thing is, if he fails his laning phase, he's going to find a way back.
Yes,
like
that's true too.
Not many players can actually do that if they have a very bad laning phase. Like he's a very smart player.
Intelligent players all around, and of course the intelligent players are going to start getting themselves ready for predictions. That's right, these players on my left are hanging out. You know what's weird is they've given me one, and that's going to be so much fun. So anyone that has a worse prediction than me, you should be ashamed of yourself.
I'm
And
ready to be ashamed.
Do you want to do it? Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, Ted, I'm going to start with you. Let's work this way.
What? Pick the winner in this game.
The winner for this game,
The first game or the series?
for the series. This is for
Okay.
the series.
All right.
I'm gonna do. This is my plan. Okay.
Explain. You can explain your working.
I'm just gonna pick MP because I want to be different, and if I'm right, I'll look like a genius.
I like
There
that
you
you've
go.
explained it honestly.
Team MP.
A little bit of a cop-out because it means
I
you're
don't care.
going to be happy regardless who wins. But
No.
I think Virtus.pro is at the moment, they look like the stronger team. On paper, they should win. It's that simple.
Conservative. Carry on.
Yeah. Now Winter.
One person's biased and one person speaks of logic, so I'm going with the logic. VP.
Boo.
Thank you. Thank
Alex.
you very much.
Alex, join me. Ted, I don't want to fall into your corrupt ways.
All right.
But
Are you going to follow the top analyst? He is the one with the most correct predictions.
I mean, I've been picking like everyone I can get my hands on brain coming into this, and everyone has been sitting there saying Virtus.pro, incredibly exciting, top contenders for like top 3 finish. And so I'd be kind of silly not to doubt them. I'll go VP just because I want to get that first one on the board. Just the first one.
Dude, name a poll this year that's been right.
Winter VP,
Seriously.
myself VP. It's just you on the end, dude.
Yeah, it's the year of craziness, so I'm going to say MP. Gonna win.
Okay,
it wouldn't even be that crazy.
If you wanted to quickly play devil's advocate, Shiva, how would you give NP's prediction, or rather give Ted's prediction of NP some backbone?
Well, I think that they are the team that, if you can't get complacent. If they find a mistake at the late game, they'll just turn it around and they'll win. We saw them at the summit. They had a game, I believe, against eHome. They were doing really bad. They were not in a happy place. They had a Warlock and a Mirana though, and all it took was one fight, and they turned that entire game around. It was an amazing fight. They wiped the floor with eHome, and they just won off the back of it. So I mean, they are a team that definitely has potential. And as I said, they're their own worst enemy, and perhaps they improved in the last week and a half to the point where they fixed their issues, and here they are.
Just one for Team Anime then. Just giving them that little bit of a boost.
Yeah, that's the only downside about him, but I do love him still. So good luck.
It looks like you're not alone.
I thought you liked
You've got some friends, look.
What?
Social media.
What?
I
didn't
some
see
Twitter,
the thing. What did
some
it
tweets.
say?
Some
Team
people
MP
in the
got 25.
Twitter
Yeah, 25% of the people are decent human beings. Come on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a blanket insult to 75% of Twitter. I'll give you that one.
I think that's fair.
Maybe Twitch is different. I know that we have a couple of extra ones as well. We can maybe see them in a while. But Virtus.pro coming into this one as favourites, and I think we've already outlined as to why. Solo and Lil with their kind of support roles, with a bit of an overlap there. I do want to see what... Oh, there's Twitch. I was hoping for this. Okay, 68 to 32.
I agree to this more than previously. I think the previous one was a bit more skewed towards VP. This one seems more reasonable to me.
He didn't think about that
Twitch
hair
being
and
more
headphones.
reasonable.
Didn't think about the hair and headphones. This is an
if you look at
important point.
Rose's hair, if you look at it when he's got the headphones on, it looks like extremely odd. So yeah, he didn't think about that.
What I think
Should he have shaved?
I think if he shaves a bar in the middle where the headphones can go, his hair looks immaculate.
Did you ever have that problem as gamers where you would say, "Oh no, I haven't been I've been working all day," and then you'd have headset hair? You ever have that?
Please don't look at me and say.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Ted. I didn't even think before.
It's all right.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, has anyone ever called you like Dota Carl Pilkington? Has that ever happened?
No, you're the first.
I
It's
am.
very clever. Well done,
Who
Alex.
is it?
Yeah, it's great.
Carl Pilkington. He's a really he's a funny fellow. He makes me giggle, and so does Ted. That's all. Oh, I'm sorry. I've upset you now.
No, you carry on.
In the rehearsals, I called you Teddy Bear.
Yeah.
And now I've called you Carl.
Yeah.
Okay, I've made a mistake.
You'll go back to CSGO eventually.
I will. Yeah, I will. But first, we can have some fun and talk about some more Dota because it is coming up towards that draft phase, and I want to make sure we have ample time to talk about it. It is still just loading in. But Winter, this is where you have a chance to set the scene, right? So to the guys at home, what are your expectations seeing VP and NP entering into a draft phase?
Both teams prioritize different kind of heroes, but they both look at the laning phase very heavily. And one of the characteristics of VP is they tend to sack their carry. They leave him alone. They pick him like a carry that doesn't need too much babysitting, and they let both of their supports roam a lot.
Roaming supports.
And MP prioritize a lot of keeping their carry safe. They want to stack ancients for him, stack camps, and always going to farm away. So they're very different in terms of how they babysit their carry, or one does babysit and one doesn't babysit the carry.
Basically, NP plays for the late game, and it's up to Virtus.pro to make sure that they'll never get to that point.
I mean,
yeah.
Haven't we always said that Virtus.pro have a very aggressive mid game? So so it's going to be a question of surviving that and taking it into late.
Yeah, I think that's how they play their early game, because their early game is so aggressive. They rotate a lot with the two supports, especially. Right. They set the pace of the game, and it makes it very difficult if you're trying to be greedy against Virtus.pro. So I think if you're...
I'm zipping my lips now. I'll let you guys jump into this one.
Right, so I don't think there's any surprise in terms of bans, Winter, to see the Naga banned, the Batrider and the Shadow Demon.
Yeah, Naga's one of MP's strongest heroes, I think. Yeah. One a very straightforward ban against them. They removed the Warlock as well. Hero that some teams prioritize and some teams don't prioritize, and I know most of the teams here would prioritize the Ogre. And surprised to see MP chose to go for the opening Drow Ranger. Teams have been cutting down on first picking Drow nowadays. Not many teams do that anymore. It's
one of their most picked.
Yeah, they are one of the only teams that you would actually still sometimes ban it out against as well. But
I'm pretty sure VP. I'm pretty sure VP took Drow and ran a sort of Drow strat quite a lot in the qualifiers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not in the. They don't pick it first
Not
phase. Yeah.
first, no.
Not
but,
as much anymore because
yeah.
teams have been getting much better at dealing with draw ranger. So you
Yeah.
want to pick it at a certain situation where you know the draw can get pressured because the weakness of the hero is laning phase.
Losing lane.
Yeah, losing your
that's the
lane
thing.
hard. And for VP, they prioritize a lot on winning the lane with like they do ogre position 4, position 5. They might still pick an enchantress to gank the draw. Like in my opinion, that's one of the best supports in the early game to shut down the draw ranger.
Yeah.
We've seen Lil play Enchantress and Chen again.
You might see it this
previous
game.
finals
There's
they
that
played.
Weaver ban.
And they went for the life stealer as well because you generally pair the life stealer with a gap closer. Against draw ranger, you want to be able to gap close, so you remove her ultimate and you take out her damage. So that's one of the common carries you see against draw.
What was funny, Alex and I were watching some games yesterday, and obviously, we know he's a relative newcomer to Dota, so I was trying to explain some of the heroes and what they do, like some of their ridiculous, and he was like, that is OP! That is so OP! For pretty much every hero. And that was my favorite thing.
This has been my sudden realization is that everything is overpowered, so nothing is. It's like what's that guy, Syndrome from Incredibles? If everyone's super, no one is.
super.
I remember
Exactly.
you were talking about, wow, how does this hero TP around the map 30 seconds cooldown?
It just seemed
Nature's
absurd.
Nature's prophet.
Nature's prophet, and yet it's never picked. It just seems so absurd to me. Anyway, we need to catch up. It looks like Sanking's going to be jumping in.
Second phase ban as well for MP, like we said. They removed the Chen and Enchantress, heroes that are really good at shutting down the draw in the early game. And VP goes back for more lane pressure. Like Sanking is also a very good hero against draw in the laning phase.
Yeah. Also, you were talking about a gap closer. Here's a guy who can get infested. Lifestealer can infest him. He can blink in, burrow strike, get his epi, and then out pops Lifestealer as well. It's good.
But if you're thinking about heroes that, Chen and Enchantress are both Lil heroes. There are some Lil heroes that, Slardar's still in the pool, which is a massive hero for him that he plays as support and is a gap closer as well if he gets a little bit of farm.
Yeah, Slardar is a really good hero with Lifestealer, especially the M damage plus, Lifestealer's physical damage output.
They go for Io.
Rubik.
It might be Io plus Sanking, and I've seen them do Ogre safe lanes. They are one of the few teams, them and EG, they do Ogre safe lanes a lot. Whereas for MP right now, Omni Knight is one of the heroes that they pick on their off lane quite a bit on MSS.
Yep.
So I expect them to do the same here. Very good hero to keep your draw alive. Basically, when you're running a draw strat, you always want to have a defensive support or a defensive core. When the enemy runs at you, you need to be able to keep the draw alive in the team fights.
So that's like the babysitter that you were talking about earlier.
What I meant with the babysitter was the lane babysitter, like someone to make sure you farm in the lane. This is kind
Rubik,
this is kind of Omni Knight's kind of like the hero that keeps people, the defensive hero in the lineup with the draw ranger.
Now, where does this one go next?
Both of the teams are looking to have a very different game plan right now.
Yeah.
For VP, they want to win the lane, and they have relocate with IO, so they want to have a much better map presence. They want to split up and roam around, whereas MP, they're going to be very afraid of the relocate and the Sanking gangs. So they're going to build their lineup around the draw to 5-man with the Omni Knight to take down towers. So you minimize the chances of the enemy catching you off because you're always 5-manning, and they're trying to gank you. So when you're 5-man, it's very difficult for them to gank you.
So Sanking
especially with an Omni Knight as well, right?
Yeah,
Like
Omni
makes
Knight.
the gank
Oh
much
my
harder.
God. Omni Knight, OD, and draw. This is the classic 5-man draw lineup.
Wow.
It's just getting bigger and bigger then. You guys, is this starting to give you any more faith in NP? Starting to see that they're forcing... I was going to say forcing VP's hand.
Let's go to Tad, the guy who had the faith before.
I had the faith. I mean, the thing is, if you first pick Drow, your strat is clear. I mean, they're not trying to hide it. They're literally just saying, we're going to pick Drow and we're going to build around that. And it is, I mean, if you counter it, it is counterable. But you almost have to counter, like that has to be your entire strat has to be countering that. Otherwise, you are going to lose to it. So I think, they've kind of forced Virtus.pro down a certain road. Obviously, MP think they can outplay them with the Drow strat. So.
It's like VP, they're just like, I don't think they're forced down the road, but they just put a lot of emphasis on winning their lanes. And with the Ogre plus the IR2 supports that are designed to help your lanes out a lot in the early game. I mean, as long as before the 5-man comes, you win your lane substantially enough, so you delay the 5-man and you're able to have an item advantage over the enemy, then you'll be able to defend the push. But if the lanes don't go well for you, then you'll be in trouble.
Yeah, big trouble.
So it is going to be Virtus.pro that has the last pick. And with the sniper already banned out, and they themselves banned out Razor.
Sniper is a really good ban because it's a very good matchup against OD. You see teams using Sniper against OD, and you have D push to slow down the push with your shrapnel. So I think it's a great ban, and Undying as well, a great last pick to put their whole draft together.
Like a little bow on top.
Yep, Undying plus Omni Knight. And you have the option to not only do Undying Omni Knight dual lane, but you have the option to do Undying Rubik plus Drow to make sure if you feel, oh, our Drow is going to get pressured a lot, we need to secure the Drow's lane. That's what Undying provides to you.
You
The
do not
security.
want to lane against
Yeah, the lane security that you have.
However, Lifestealer is a bit of a tombstone killer already.
Let him try.
Let him try, okay.
Yep.
Well, Shadow Fiend, it's no one's Shadow Fiend. That's nice.
Okay.
So
like it.
basically, the last pick is telling us that VP just wants to have good lanes plus good team fight. They have Sand King ultimate, Shadow Fiend ultimate. Against a push lineup, you want to have AoE to defend the push.
And so we're already, with it all kind of said and done, I think it's safe to say, like, what I like about what we're doing here is we do our predictions, then we see the draft.
Yeah.
And so you basically...
I'm not changing. I'm sticking with MP. I'm
You're
happy.
not allowed. Oh,
I'm
it's
happy.
locked in. It's actually been carved into concrete, so there's no way you can get out of
I'm
this,
glad. I would have carved it
I'm
myself.
shaken by MP's draft right now.
What? Okay, you have to explain. Why are you shaken?
I mean, they have a very good solid plan, and it's very good against what VP have.
It feels like they've done their homework then, Shiva. You feel like
I would think so. It looks like a good draft. I still think Virtus.pro, like as a team, is just slightly the better one. So I wouldn't have changed my prediction if I had the chance. So.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is picking that drove first was like throwing down the gauntlet. Just saying like, this is what we're going to do and we're going to do it well. Let's see what you've got, almost. It was a very kind of up in your face, very blatant call to arms. And actually, talking of call, we're going to summon two other faces now to discuss this game and of course get them into it. It's our casters for our first game. It's Toby1 and Malini. Are you there, boys?
Yeah, Machine, as Malini. I know you've been watching the draft very, very closely. Winter seems to think that MP have got what it takes to shake up the VP. Was a very unsurprising draft for them.
Mm-hmm. I think they have a lot of solutions to deal with the Drow Ranger, but not necessarily the Omni Knight. That's definitely what I'm most scared of about MP's draft.
All right, so we'll keep our eyes on that Omni Knight as we're going to get into the game now. So this is game number 1 of our first best of 3 appearing here on the stage. It is going to be Virtus.pro, the favorites, up against NP, who, well, at least draft-wise with the panel, they're believing as favorites too.
I had to get my predictions in. Sorry, Toby.
Of course you do. You were such a point.
You have 35 seconds left.
I actually had to restart because I had an observer bug. But, man. It's good to see the Drow range getting a little bit more workout. With the lineup, though, is it that scary? Like, you're going up against Virtus.pro, a team which recently just came off the win at the Summit. They won that very convincingly, too. And now you're like, you know their laning phase is really, really strong. Is it such like a heavy risk? Like you run a Drow Ranger lineup, you've got to win by 40 or else you're in real trouble.
I think it's much different because they have the OD and VP doesn't have any great defusal carriers. They had their mid pick last. They had their Lifestealer pick first. Normally like the one position buys the defusal blade, but no Juggernaut, let's say. That's probably one of the most common ones that you'll see in the safe lane. And it's like so-so on the Shadow Fiend. So the later it goes, I think the stronger the Omni Knight becomes. I think a lot of it depends on the Sand King. What can the Sand King do? And also they have a hero that can protect the Omni Knight, which is really important because normally they just all in on the Omni Knight, but with the Astral Imprisonment on the OD, they do have fail saves as well as the Undying as a backup.
They still need to make this laning phase work. Like you're running Urga. Urga, like the most popular hero right now for support, getting up in Envy's phase, so you're forcing Savage to come into the lane to try and beat him out. I suppose the upside is the fact that no one has gone for like the Necromastery to start with, so there's no Shadow Razors to really hurt the Undying just yet, or to actually build up souls for the SF.
Yeah, he needs to get a couple souls, and he is currently only sitting at 1. Tough matchup for him.
Maybe another reason too why Solo's just moving slightly out of the lane. Gives no one that space to get the levels. But this top lane, like, talk about trying to go up against an SK with an IO sitting behind him too. This seems like it's a little bit too much work for 1437 to do.
Too much regen to chew through. He has a Mango, 2 sets of regen on the Sand King, and then he has a Wisp behind him with a bottle already. So that's pretty much not going to happen. But at least they have dealt with that spawn and not allow the Sand King to pull and stack.
Mm-hmm. So what do you want out of this offlane? Looking at Omni Knight, like Ramses is getting up in his face. MSS was able to hit the Purification, so like health-wise they're still pretty close, but CS-wise, Ramses is pulling slightly ahead, even though the creep wave's still in his favor.
Mm-hmm. And Omni Knight hasn't gone for pulling blades.
That first blood. They get him underneath the tower.
There's just, I mean, the Sand King in this lane is, they talked about the safe lane being secured by the Rubik and the Undying, but because the Undying has been in the mid lane and Sand has just so much regen, Drow really can't do that much at level 1. You can hit him with the Frost Arrows, but he has Stout Shield already and boots to boot.
They're trying to have a crack at mid. Savage he doesn't have any control when he rotates like this as the Undying.
Dude, he has the Arcane Rune.
The problem is he doesn't have Eternal Envy. Eternal Envy's back behind the tier 1 tower, still trying to find some CS.
42 mana decay though, Toby. 42. With 7-second cooldown. That's nasty. Yeah, you just don't want to be up against that at all. Shadow Fiend's already sitting at less than 500 HP.
But with the SF, like it's not that bad, right? Because he's still on Radiant side, he can still stack for himself. But with 2.5 minutes in, there's been no Radiant stacking being done, including Ancients. So
he has 9 souls.
Do you look for that flash farm?
Nah, he has 9 souls already. I think that's good enough to start contesting CS well versus the OD.
Oh, there's VP maneuver. They're getting really aggressive on the top lane, coming in behind the tier 1 tower. AUI as well as 1437 have to defend themselves back inside the tree line. Actually bringing more help. So the Undying will TP top. This is what Winter was talking about, that rotation of the Undying if you have to secure your Drow lane.
And now the OD's fallen behind in CS in the mid lane. 13 to 11.
Oh, Savage, Pasha gonna get that Burrow Strike off. They'll keep him slowed up, but maybe, well, they're splitting up so he can't get an easy decay. But with the Gust back, they've got some space. Pasha's dropping down low. Savage still with a caustic on him. He won't fall from this. But VP definitely trying to make it so this NP safe lane is not safe at all.
Yeah, this is not what you want from your Drow Ranger lane. This is like one of your worst nightmares as a Drow Ranger. You have 2 other people in your lane that you actually need to help. So you're not getting that much experience. You want your max true shot ASAP and maybe some life leech so you can farm a little bit more. And he's not able to CS well either. Although he is doing pretty decently. 14 is more than I would expect from his lane. So AUI pulling ahead.
Yeah, actually, every single lane for the cause, they've all got some decent CS. The SF, of course, is breaking free ahead.
Yeah, Ramses is somewhat in danger of dying down there.
Yeah, then Lil rotates over. All that purification. Here's Ramses' Hans, but he knows he's okay. Lil's still bottling him up. Ramses doesn't have an open wounds available. He's got Rage up if he wants to have another crack, but MSS is already back into the safety range of the tier 1 tower.
And Pasha narrowly escapes a gank on the top lane with a level 1 and Sandstorm. Picked it up quite early. I like that pickup. I've seen far too many go 2-0-3. He's versus a range hero, so I guess the call may be a little bit more wise for him to go for the Sandstorm rather than max Caustic.
Well, there's nothing that really pulls him out of it, right? Like, there's no AoE stun that you're going to be triggering apart from, like, you've got the Gust to break him out of the channel.
Yeah, telekinesis drop on top of him, but it's all a little bit slow. It's more so that the supports have to actually invest some wards.
MSS, this is very optimistic. He's chasing down, looking for Lil. Optimistic actually pays off. Got close enough for the purification. Lil hung around just a little bit too long, and now that's the Soul Ring up for the Omni Knight.
Yeah, the value point in the... Or actually, he got 2 points in the degen. I like that. Ramses struggling a little bit too.
Oh, he's trying to get the open wounds off. Problem is he's got no more heal. Lil will arrive. So now the tether is up. MSS doesn't have anything else to fight with. All he's got is his infused raindrops, but that won't save him from this. Ramses just beats him down with the claws. So he gets a little bit of revenge for the death of his support.
Still getting a kill on Ramses like that. He's a full level ahead of him by now. And no one looking to invade the jungle. There aren't any stacks for him
Savage.
to take, but
Savage is actually pinched at the moment. The SK can come in through the river, and Solo and no one move up through the bottom part of the river. They saw him thanks to the Observer Ward. They just need the proper stun, and then no one can just raise him down. So good maneuver. Nice Observer Ward just sitting on the hillside that saw it all happen.
Yeah, Undying's been struggling a lot this game. He's just sitting on a Windlace and no sign of boots yet for him. Sitting at a paltry 23 gold. So Envy takes the first rune away from the Wisp, and MSS looking to set up a heal bomb.
Where is he? They're waiting for Lil to actually tether over. MSS read it perfectly, but the open wounds will keep the distance. That's why he has to repel. Potentially able to block him inside the tree line. No, they can't. He's got his Calling Blade up. So cuts through the trees and gets away to safety. Meanwhile, up on top lane, it looks like Sand King. Pasha hoping for an opening over an AUI with a rotation up from Solo. But it's just not enough.
He's forced to build full defensive on the Drow Ranger too. He has to go for the treads early, and then he has to go for a magic stick too. You generally don't want to get a magic stick on the Drow Ranger.
They're actually doing the rotation. Envy threw the orb out. That's not enough to kill because he didn't actually hit Lil with that orb.
Oh, that was a cool tree eat by AUI. He ate one of the trees so he could pull the creeps and stack the ancients. That 1-1 that you see the dragons go through. I haven't seen that too much. Efficient.
It's classic AUI, right? Put him as well as Envy on a team, you expect some kind of shenanigans like that.
Yeah, and he went for the Blightstone too, so he can actually farm Ancients. Normally you would wait for the Morbid Mass, so this is probably far earlier than VP's expecting him to go. They're probably wondering where he is right now, and look at Solo. Solo's wondering where he is. He placed an Observer Ward to check out, because you don't expect the Draw Ranger to go to the jungle this early, at least not the Ancients.
Yeah, not this kind of rotation. But instead, they're still adding a lot of pressure towards mid. This will force like some kind of movement out of NP. Envy's going to TP in there. No one almost killed off Savage with 2 really nicely placed razors. But because while you're doing this, sure, AUI is getting far, but is this really worth it? The amount of time he's spending out of lane? I suppose you're getting the farm into Rubik, right?
Yeah, they need the levels. Top lane he's actually level 7 on the Rubik and can make some plays.
Well, he instantly went back. They purchased up a smoke, so yeah, it looks like plays is definitely on the cards for MP.
Yeah, they know that they're just looking to pressure in the middle lane because the Draw Ranger's constantly been missing. She hasn't shown on any of the Observer Wars on top, so that they can expect that she's on the right side of the map. Most likely farming the large camp, maybe not necessarily the Ancients. He's still working on those, but with his positioning, with the Quelling Blade and the Tree Eating, Draw Ranger's doing a fine job.
Yep. Pasha's going to return to the top lane after Rubik TP'd off it. It's pretty open for him. And also a very farm-orientated Pasha going for this early Iron Talon along with his Tranquil Boot, so not rushing up the Blink Dagger, looking for a straight-up fight. But it's bottom lane where Ramses initiates an MSS. Just MSS doing his normal thing, getting aggressive up in their face. But at this time, there's actually a follow-up. Rose actually got hit by one of the IO balls.
And the haste immediately popped, and he bounces. And AUI is still sitting there waiting for one of those weak heroes.
Well, if you can get the Gust off, there's no rage, but the Gust was just out of range of Ramses.
I don't even know if he could have killed him, because Lil's not at full HP, so easy heal from the Tether, and he has 1 point overcharge already.
He's killed the goal, though, because now they're going to be able to take out that Tier 1 tower. As a Drone Ranger early on, these Tier 1 towers have to fall, and they still haven't, like 9.5 minutes in, haven't taken a single one until now.
And now they're like Pasha's skipping creeps on top, and Rose has stolen level 1 standstorm. Another benefit of playing.
Problem is he just left Envy by himself in the mid lane. Envy starting his TP out. No one was winding up the ult. He's just got enough damage. MSS's TP couldn't arrive in time, and now he's kind of staring down the barrel of a very blood-raged up SF.
Yeah, they saw the Wisp come in, and they pinged out his Ancient Ward drop, but they didn't expect him to come around from behind.
This was not the plan for MP, where they had to go for a straight-off tower trade. But
definitely not.
With the Rubik TPing up towards top lane, you know you got a lot of space to make plays, and they did it. MV caught.
They're doing a good job of making sure that NP is forced to put people in all the lanes and making sure that they can't just greedily farm up the jungle. If they don't have all 5 showing in the lanes, they'll just run as 5. And this is before the relocate too. Now that relocate's up in just 60 XP, he could easily pick up a tome if he wanted.
Looks like Lil's also preparing for a gank on top. Pasha's going to Burrow Strike over. If you can bring the balls in close, the damage will be decent onto a Rubik, but decent is not enough, and they can't bring him out of the Stolen Sandstorm. Now Rose actually starting his TP. Pasha won. It was actually only half a second till that Burrow Strike was back off cooldown. So beautifully played up there by Theban.
Yeah, he had the Sentry Ward on Pasha.
Relocate. We're going for a trip to absolutely nowhere. Don't think that was part of the plan.
Definitely not. I'm not sure whether they were like going home.
Yeah,
maybe tried to double click it or something.
Home would make more sense, just a straight up regeneration, because there was no fight for them to have anyway. None of their Observer Wars were triggering anything, so it was just a misclick. You meant to like double tap home probably.
Maybe some issues with quick cast. That happens occasionally with quick cast.
Just means Pasha's got to stay out of the fight for a little bit longer, let his Tranquil Boots do the work, and they just wait for the 12-minute rune.
NP are desperately trying to protect that right side of the map, especially with that tower, 1 tower down. And they have to at this point. They're kind of struggling to find places to farm safely.
Is this so they can also get Roshan, so they have an Aegis for their tier 2 pushes?
Ideally. And it's also will kind of pressure VP to make multiple decisions. Like, they need to take down the T1 on the top, they need to protect Roche, they need to contest the Ancients, and they need to get farm up themselves.
Virtus.pro coming in to fight.
Yeah, they have the Sand King Blink Dagger. Let's watch his positioning.
Oh, there's going to be our first big 5-on-5 fight. If VP can find a good positioning, NP are being very defensive about this, only leaving AUI in the front lines. So they put down the Observer Wall, sentries are planted so they can see it. The epicenter channeling up from Pasha. Blinks in with a Burrow Strike, looking for the kill on MSS, but it's not going to be enough. Now they turn on the GA and Solo gets evaporated. Now maybe no one can turn this fight around. Popping out the big Requiem, but it's just too much. NP, they don't have the damage. They don't actually have the positioning either. So Dro gets stunned up high while you're losing the Rubik in the mid to no one getting a triple kill. NP lose 4. It looked like they were going to originally survive, and then, nope.
That was probably not the target that he was trying to Astral. He Astral the Sand King after he had already epied. I think maybe he was trying to click on the Lifestealer, but he had already popped Rage. So the other target that you would want to Astral is the Omni Knight, just so he doesn't get wrecked by the Repel, but yeah, with Omni Knight dying that early in the fight, at least he got his GA off, but he was just way too low to continue, and then everyone's going to fall like pawns.
It's when it feels a little odd. Like, you could see how long that mid-fight was brewing. Like, VP had all the time in the world to prepare for it.
Yeah, they didn't have vision on the right side, though. Like, notice that Observer Ward's on the left side.
We'll have a quick look back at it again so we can see that maneuver.
I think he's just outside the Observer Ward range. They place one right on AUI, but he Astrals the Sand King and all the spells come out from the Omni Knight, but then he gets Requiem, then easily Shadow Rays down. And now they're trying to go for Roche, but SVG gets bashed up. SF Illusions scouting them out. And
yeah,
they're trying to do the Tombstone tank.
It's not the dream. It's almost like MP were also playing the bluff card by putting Envy down on that bottom lane, so he came out past the tier 1 tower and ended up dying to a Virtus.pro gank. So now you're an OD down, you're losing your tier 1 tower, and you just don't have the strength to fight. GA is still not back up again. And the Tombstone's wasted on the pit, so you cannot fight.
On top of that, they don't feel safe to farm anywhere. They have to worry about an Invis SF. He has Shadow Blade now, so you can get Requiem with level 2 and easily burst it down with one raise or a right click. And then you have to worry about the Sand King stun into a relocate. And pretty much none of these can be prevented except for an Omni Knight sitting right behind you. But if they have vision on the Omni Knight, both of you guys are dead. So that means they have to commit more heroes than they want to each of these objectives that they want to go for. And VP just read that like a book, the Sneak Roche, and that's kind of what you expect when you play against Envy. So it's a little unfortunate for MP that they've been so readable at that point in the game.
When you're behind, you try and go for a big play like Roshan. Didn't work. VP read it, and now they're so far ahead. We saw that quick matchup as well between No One as well as Eternal Envy, and it really does show the distance of these heroes. 8.5k on the net worth of the SF compared to the 5.2 of the OD. Envy just is a bit of a non-factor at the moment.
Uh-oh, they smoked, and Draw Ranger attacked the Ancients, so she will not be involved in that fight.
I don't think she wants to be at this point. If she's still farming up the Ancients, unless she's going to walk in. That Observe Ward on the hillside from Virtus.pro, it would have scattered a small movement, not to mention the one which is sitting just in front of that bottom rune. But they're quick enough. They've done it. They actually pick up the Aegis the Immortal. They get into the hands of AUI, and they'll get out before Virtus.pro can react. Pasha. Or can they? Pasha's in close. He's lined up. He gets a double Burrow Strike. The Gast is actually going to miss. Same with the Decay, and now No One looks to open up. AUI separated from the rest of his team, sitting inside the pit. No One just going to TP out. They don't want the fight. The positioning isn't perfect for them, so they just let it go.
He didn't stun the Omni Knight in the first batch, or else worse things might have happened for MP, but that's a very good position for them to take a fight. They were kind of all up on their side of the hill. They were a little bit spread out, and they have the Aegis of the Immortal, and they had a Sentry War on the south side. But luckily for Pasha, he escaped to the northwest, and now you can kind of see NPs playing all of them, just grouping up. They know they'll get picked off, so now VP just have to split push and make use of their mobility tools to try and make the best of NP's positioning.
What do you think about the item progression of No One? Going directly in for Silver Edge before going for something more common like a BKB up against an OD?
I kind of like the Silver Edge here, because with the Repel target, you can kind of just ignore them. You break them, and then you just kill everyone else. And like, okay, we can't kill you, but you also really can't do anything for us. I think it also makes them a lot more tanky. The BKB, it's a common joke that it's like a game-losing item if you get it this early, which I think they have to entertain the possibility of it going quite late, and I think going for a BKB now would just be far too risky for him. The Silver Edge, he can do a lot more. He has a lot more uptime on his Shadow Blade, but at the same time, looks like he may be in a little bit of a pickle here.
Yeah, NP smoke maneuvering to the bottom lane. They're
they
looking
have no
for
detection,
something.
except for one pair of sentries on the Rubik, which is not really going to cut it versus an SF.
Yeah, you can't need the dust. And Ramses knows he's safe. All he's got to do is just rage and get out. So there it is, the Silver Edge used by no one. He's away from Eternal Envy. Ramsey's already forced the fortification out in that tier 2 tower. TP support's coming up, and, well, Rage and TP. He'll start it up, and there is nothing that can interrupt him. Easy split divide maneuver, and NP have to waste one of those valuable smokes.
And this also buys time for VP to get a defusal if they want. Shadow Fiend looks like his next item will be a BKB, as I see the Ogre Club in his inventory. Sand King might actually be able to purchase one, I would say, with the rate that he's farming.
Would you look to him to actually get that? Like right now, he's got Blink Dagger as well as Yule Scepter.
I see it on Life. I see it Lifestealer building one.
AUI. He knows he doesn't have that. His Gust is now nothing. You just Yules off the silence effect, and then it's just a simple Blink or Sandstorm away.
Yeah, he is very difficult to kill right now. The only actual lockdown that they have is Rubik and potentially a Burrow Strike from Rubik if he gets it. And Pasha feels very safe to farm.
They're hoping for top.
Coming around with Invis, but how do they kill him?
Well, you don't. It's very simple. Like you entertain the idea for a moment because he uses his Burrow Strike to farm. So you're like, okay, maybe this is the way to do it, but no. He's still got too much escape. But now it looks like MP will at least be able to claim this tier 1 tower, and VP in no position to fight back.
They will be in just a minute. I think that their reign of terror is about to end pretty soon, NP's is, with their H's expiring and the defusal coming out on the Lifestealer. He's also hidden his defusal blade. He hasn't made any signs of showing, like even a robe, I would think, would probably give it away on him. Also, a Blade of Alacrity would almost certainly make NP like much more scared, but with this he can pick it up, he can hide inside the Sand King, and they won't know. And actually the chicken's coming out right now, so they definitely know that something's up.
Right onto the tier 2 tower. I haven't seen anybody ping it just yet, but with the courier making a double maneuver, is this almost going to be like a trade-off time? VP are fairly strong. They're beating into the tier 2 tower on both teams. Like fortification going to go down for them.
VP's not really that scared, because if they split up, they can easily just reinforce the numbers.
Well, you look at Ramses, he's solo pushing the mid lane. The first TP's coming back now from Eternal Envy, but Ramses rages up. He does his own little trick again, so stays inside the rage, does his TP, and then is away. And he took off almost half of the HP of that tier 3 tower.
Aegis out in 30 seconds. I think it's about time that VP can make a move, and no one was just farming their Ancients, and now they're slowly losing out in the economic war as VP pull ahead with a 10k net worth lead, and VP almost certainly not going to be willing to give them the next Aegis if Shadow Fiend's BKB is up, and BKB up, Defusal up, Aegis expired. I think this is it.
So if you're Virtus.pro, obviously you don't feel like you're on the clock with your lineup, everyone's looking really, really good. Do you not give MP to fight inside the base? Like, do you actually want to delay this game out by like another 20 minutes until you become almost immortal against the MP lineup? Or is this giving MP too much space to come back?
I think it just depends on what MP wants to do. If they want to farm together as 5, they need to do it in a well-fortified position. And they always need to hide the Omni Knight. That's the most important part. If Omni Knight dies early in the fight, and he doesn't have any mobility items, no Blink, no Force Step, no Glimmer, like nothing like that to really save himself, I guess just Mech, which isn't that effective versus like a Sand King Burrow Strike Epi. But if he gets caught, then I think like they will just get crushed in the fight really badly, because they have nothing against the rage of the Lifesteal except for GA. So if MP goes outside of base, you take the fight to them, and looks like they're setting up very, very soon. 4 people have smoked. We see Ramses in position to run in with a Diffusal Blade. The only thing that they're lacking right now is vision, so they have to be a little bit careful about how they tread on the north side of the map, and you can kind of see that with Ramses still hiding in that tree area.
They're waiting for him to come back over, so MP just scanned. They scanned the top river entrance. They were expecting Virtus.pro to move up through the river. The scan, it just wore up before Lil reached it. So they do not know, but the smoke is going to break in just a second, but they're out of range of the Observer and Sentry. So they tether forward. AUI massively separated from the rest of the pack. He's already broken down. He'll Hurricane Pike himself down, but into the waiting arms of Ramses. The Burrow Strike is there, and they kill off the Drow Ranger. No one lines up the ult. He doesn't actually hit on anybody apart from his own teammates, but there's still 2 heroes down for MP. They're trying to bail out of here with at least casualties as possible, but it's still going to be 3 heroes lost for MP. 12-2 on the board, and Virtus.pro, they've got perfect control of this game.
Yeah, they just cannot kill that lifestealer at all. He just walked in blind. There is no vision that they had right there. They had a vision of 1 hero from the creep wave, and he just kind of walked in. He's like, if they're all 4, I can just armlet. If I get gusted, I'll just defuse it off. And heroes just keep perishing around the map for MP. This is going to be
That pick
brutal.
is actually too easy. With the damage onto the mid tower already, there's no Eternal Envy for 42 seconds. He's got no buyback available, so it's either Roshan or it's mid tower.
I'm trying to think about how MP thinks that they can get back in the game and what their game plan is. I see OD going for a Perseverance, so that's one of the first steps to dealing with the Diffusal Blade. Now that it's not instantaneous, at least you have a few seconds left where you feel like you can actually do something with Repel. That's a very common combo, the Lincolns plus Repel, and then Drow Ranger going for the Shadow Blade, potentially just to go for some picks and open up the map for them a little bit more. But in the straight 5-on-5s, it's not really going to feel very useful.
Speaking of pick, there's the Blink Burrow Strike. They're going to Hurricane Pike him up. The heals were enough from Savage as well as MSS. Now they try and turn the fight. Lil is pretty low, but you have to remember, no one is pretty big, and he has that fresh BKB on him. So if Eternal Envy wants to fight this one, no one will be happy to turn the focus to Ramses. He's the one on the front lines. Diffusal Blade charge over on the OD. They push him up. Pasha's Burrow Strike still connected. Another defensive imprisonment. They're kiting around Virtus.pro nicely. Requiem, very ineffective against MP. Well, they're looking for another target. The Blink, the Yule Scepter is up. Rose, oh, he went to Sandstorm. They missed the target. The Gem of True Sight of MP now lost. It was sitting on the Rubik. There was no one that got the kill, but now they get a multicast over on Eternal Envy. This could be him down. No buyback, a double kill for the SF, and a double Burrow Strike from Pasha. Right on the money. Triple kill for no one. He'll look to make it something a little bit more. Will it be the Rampage? It's an ultra kill at the moment. Savage is the last one left alive. Push him in, and there it is. A Virtus.pro Rampage will force the GG call out of MP, and that is one very dominant game from Virtus.pro with a double Rampage just to add some icing onto the cake at the end.
What a way to kick off the Boston Major for VP. Looking strong. Favorites for a reason.
And it seemed perfect comfort zone as well. I was wondering if MP had actually crafted some things up. They went for the Omni Knight kind of play, but Virtus.pro got every pick that I think everyone was expecting them to get.
I think a lot of it's due to their Drow Ranger too. As Winter had mentioned, a lot of teams have been kind of foregoing the Drow Ranger first pick just because there are a lot of ways to deal with it now that it's just been explored so much, and they had so many heroes that could just get up in her face. She couldn't do any damage. Even if you didn't kill her, her marksmanship is almost always going to be down in the team fights.
I also like the point you made during the game. It's like there was nothing to deal with Lifestealer's Rage. Like we saw him sitting on that tier 2 tower, just raged up, took the tower, then TP'd out. What's the OD? What's the Drow going to do against this? Where's your direct stuns? Like where's your Ursa Warrior with a Basher? Like something along these lines. It just didn't exist.
Yeah, I believe in Ramses. I mean, that kid is amazing, and he did pretty much everything that he could do to win this game in as timely as a fashion as possible, and he got the Diffusal Blade like very quickly.
All right, well, luckily we got a whole bunch of panels to also say hello to after that game. Boys, what do you think? And
hello.
Girl.
We can say hello. How you doing?
Hello. Hello,
that
machine.
That was a bit brief. I'd only just started my breakfast. I'm kind of a bit upset that MP didn't give us a little bit longer there.
Well, it's quick is good. Quick is good.
MP games go long.
Is that what you tell all the girls, Toby?
No, it's going to be the extremes, man. Like, MP will take us to either 90 minutes or they'll take us to 20 minutes and lose.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they put faith in Dro, and it did seem like it didn't really go anywhere, did it?
No.
Oh, look at this. They're doing rhymes with me. Much love. All right, I'm going to talk to the panel for a bit. Thanks, Merlini. And Toby will be back with you for the second game. And now, of course, I'm joined by Winter, Shiva, and Pyrian Flax.
Told you so.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to start with the man in the mint.
I went with my heart. I mean, you know, I like the Team MP guys. I wish them well. They're relatively, obviously, they're not new players, but they're a new team, and you want new teams to grow the scene and everything like that. They got unlucky. They bumped into team in form, and I guess they just nothing that they seem to go for worked out. I thought Omni did okay, and the offlane actually did really well, shut down the lifestealer, but once they started just running at the drow and blowing her up, there wasn't really much they could do. And as we were pointing out in the green we were watching, it was like they don't have the stuns to cope with people just charging at you, so it's kind of tough. But MSS gets a kill here on the IO, which was a nice start for him. Slacks was very excited, as you can imagine. Hoo-wah! Gets him. So he was hard to shut down, but then I think the SK and the Ogre just gave way too much, not to mention the damage from the SF. This was too much control.
This was the most important moment in the whole game. MP were trying to hit their 5-man lineup timing before the Sand King blink on 9 Pash came, but as a result of that, they tried to push without the mech on Omni Knight. He was like halfway there. But I could see why they were trying to rush things. They don't want to fight into the dagger, and that was what happened. The dagger Sand King came and they lost that fight.
When you're playing a drow lineup, you have very specific timings, and they wanted to hit that exact sweet spot, and Virtus.pro came online a little bit faster than they were assuming, and there was no chance for them to hit that sweet spot. So
they lost their lanes, I think, too much. I kind of expected the Undying pick. I was really happy with the last pick that they threw out, but the Undying pick sort of didn't do enough, I felt. They lost their lanes pretty handily. I mean, the only one that was like kind of 50-50 in the lane was the Omni against the Lifestealer.
Right.
But the other lanes went really badly for NP. And in Dota, if you lose two lanes and the other lane is 50-50, the game is going to be really hard for you.
So, I mean, was Envy really having that much of much trouble in against
because, like I said, MP always plays around their carry a lot. They stack for him, they protect him in the lane. As a result of their playstyle, they sacrificed Envy, and he was on his own, even though he had draw aura against with the OD against the Shadowfiend, but Shadowfiend had backup. He had the IO running around, healing him. He had the Ogre running to the mid lane all the time, so it was difficult for Mr. Jackie Mao to do his thing in the lane. So you kind of expect him to lose his lane under those circumstances.
Right. Yeah. So what's interesting as well is when you bring up the scoreboard, it just tells you one thing. It was an incredible one-sided affair, very little positives to be taken away.
No, there's a lot of like strategy involved in this game. It was a very strategic victory for BP, I feel. Like they won their lanes. They needed to win their lanes. Otherwise, the push comes and they're not going to be able to defend. I mean, Pat even mentioned, I think it was also a very valid point. Once you lose your lanes that hard as MP, you don't have stuns. You don't have any way to initiate the fights. Yeah. You're like kind of counting on, Rubik, please steal Borrow Strike. Please steal something.
You need that. I honestly think Sand King, I mean, he's one of my absolute favorite heroes, and he is so strong. His Burrow Strike is a fantastic spell. His ult is good. He's just a boss in these early fights. And I think that when you've got, like, sometimes you'll have that and you think, well, where's the damage coming from? You got an SF who won mid, and it's no one. So it was so much damage. He went 12-0. That's what you want. You want nice setups from the SK, and then Shadowfiend kills someone.
I mean, the first blink fight, it wasn't even like perfect. He blinked in, and he only got one hero. He got the Omni. Yeah. But the thing is, like, the follow-up from the Shadowfiend was more than enough for them to secure the fight.
Yeah, and then also you got Ogre waddling in and doing what Ogre does.
Bloodlust for Shadowfiend.
But was Sand King supposed to get as much out of the lane as he got? Because I felt like, you got a Sand King, and I know 9 Pash is, he's a great solid player. He's very stable. And
it's not 9 Pash that game. It's all about the two supports, the IO and the Ogre. Right. They just won them the lanes.
I mean, but when you bring up the scoreboard, there's just one name that stands out to you, and he has been chosen as our MVP for Game 1. It does sound weird when I say that no one is our MVP, but I promise it makes sense. Indeed. Actually, we had a discussion. Is it no one or is it Noon? Shiva, you actually asked him, didn't you?
Yeah, so at the summit, at some point, Lil came up to me. He's like, why are you calling Noon no one? Because, it's actually Noon. And I didn't know. I recited something because at some point, everybody did start calling him Noon. And then no one at that point was in Team Vega. And the Vega Twitter account tweeted saying something, it feels weird, people calling no one Noon. Why are people doing that? So everybody went back to calling him no one. And then I asked no one's, like, what do you want to be called? Like, I don't care.
Not helpful. Not helpful. He needs to settle this.
He needs to settle. Have preference.
You settle it. Pick one. Oh, I don't care.
I mean, I like that attitude. He's here just to win Dota. He doesn't care.
He just want to play.
Yeah, spoken like a player. I want to know.
This is important. It also makes it sound really funny on Analyst Desk when we're saying no one was very impressive in that game.
Yeah,
and some find that funny, but a little like.
I like
but you end up saying weird stuff.
Yeah,
and he didn't like it. So
no one but the supports for the MVP there.
Yeah. There was a bit of a... the MVP was no one. I mean, in the CS team, you have someone called Somebody, and that's equally as fun. Somebody might get a kill. No one has got a kill. It's a lot of fun. But I've been asking you a lot of questions. We can actually go ahead and have one from social media. We're throwing a question, I believe, into the stratosphere, and that is, How did Machine prepare for hosting a Dota 2 event? Well, good question from, who is that? Matty Nico. I had so many offers from so many people. It was actually wonderful. As soon as the announcement went live, I had, stats guys, I had friends who play the game, I've had these guys, these panelists, everyone just throwing information at me, and I just gobbled up as much as I possibly could.
That's a lot of information to try and gobble up.
It's a little overwhelming. Absolutely it is. But my job is just to make you guys have fun, talk about some games, and hopefully I can say welcome to the Boston Major and not talk about wheelchairs and not bring a whiteboard. I can do all of those things.
You can manage those.
Yeah.
That's lesson one. If you can get past that obstacle, you'll do fine. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm doing okay so far.
So far, so good.
So far. I mean, I'm not making any promises. I have seen a very nice, kind of appealing-looking whiteboard out there I might use for some diagrams later on. But in answer to that, I've also been doing a lot of the what's it called? What am I looking at? Replays with Pyrion. We had a lot of fun. We had a couple of beverages.
I asked on Twitter, I said if there's a particularly iconic moment or game that you think we should show Machine. A lot of them confirmed what I was already preparing to show you, but there were a couple of nice ones in there. We didn't get a chance to watch all of them, but we will. Yeah.
Most of them came from TI3.
TI3, I mean, that is seen as like this iconic tournament, obviously, but I was trying to bring you up to date on some other ones. It's the big X $6 million record slam.
I feel bad now. All I did was tell him what was happening in the game before.
Winter, you also told me lots of things. You told me that Ogre Magi is called Blue Fat.
Yeah.
So that is important information in Chinese, I should specify. Not just in Winter's mind. Anyway, talking of Blue Fat, this is the worst segue ever.
Okay.
The Twitter logo is blue, and they've got another tweet.
Nice.
You see that? Smooth as butter. In what ways will Monkey King and the new patch change the meta? Oh, we're talking about new patches already.
I'm going to try and be polite, Alfie, and I'm going to say nobody knows. There's no way that we can predict how the meta will change when we don't know the patch. We don't know exactly how the hero is going to work. It's like saying, what do you think will happen when aliens arrive? It's a complete speculation. We'd have to guess. So it is going to be a huge patch. We know that. This is the longest we've waited for a patch in Dota. So as far as I'm concerned, this is going to be, a lot of people are saying Dota 3 and all the rest of it. It is going to be big. I don't think it's going to be quite as big as some people think, but it is going to be a big change.
And I'm glad that we are talking about the patch and how long it's been standing, because to a lot of people, Winter, it's been seen as one of the most balanced / competitive patches we've had in Dota 2.
Yeah, I think it's great. Like, so many heroes are pickable.
Yeah.
A lot of strats are viable. It's really good for the players, the people are watching.
Everybody has their own strategy going on, and every strategy that they come up with could potentially work if you execute it properly, which, in some cases there has been patches where, okay, you need to ban out these 4 heroes because otherwise, you're going to lose. Because if you let one through and your enemy gets it,
Yeah, you've come at a good time, Alex.
Dota
is a good place.
Do we not have any kind of candidates like that in this patch? Do we not have?
It differs per team, and that's the beauty of it. So you'll always, or mostly always, see teams ban out Naga Siren against NP because AUI is a monster with it. But other people might not ban out Naga against other teams, maybe against OG. But there's only specified teams.
I mean, the hero itself is not.
If he's looking for a hero, if you want to ban a hero, every game probably just Ogre. I think,
Ogre, because he's a very versatile, very solid pick. Blue Fat, there you go. You could go for him, But yeah, this patch is it's been in a great place for a long time, and I like the little incremental changes. They're like, maybe this one's a little bit odd, and so we'll just tweak that a bit. That's a smart way to do it. Big patch and then little incremental changes until the next big patch. That's the way to do it.
And what's interesting as well is that just before we do jump into the draft, is that yes, this patch is the same as TI. However, the meta has shifted considerably from what I understand, Winter. So without the game changing too considerably, the meta shifts. Can you explain why something like that would happen?
A lot of things are not fully understood, not explored, and or certain things that you've been, the old things that you've been doing before might work in a different way. You could still do it, but with better execution. So players are just getting better and, understand Dota more.
It's constantly evolving.
You got to understand that the meta is not just this uniform, these are the best heroes. A lot of it is also, what is the current flavor of the month? What is the current thing that a lot of people are
and how everyone is playing against a specific play style. Everyone's playing this way, this hero might work.
They copy each other a lot. And also, if everybody's playing certain heroes, if 1 or 2 teams are playing a lot of heroes a lot and they're playing a lot of games, other teams get better at certain heroes because they're having to play against them or they've played those heroes a lot. So the meta is not just decided by a pure mathematical, these are the best heroes, these are the best picks. There's a style that comes out a flavor of the month, and then that goes away, and it's kind of like, oh yeah, we don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, back to this game, I think that the second game is going to be really different. Like for MP, they're gonna run like the first game they ran something like very 5-man, but second game they might switch up to more like catch. I think they need more catch in the next game.
They were lacking that. Like if the catchers, like let's say the other team's getting away from them, they need someone to catch up. Sand King can do that.
Or even
really
a Beastmaster, MSS Beastmaster.
Something like that, yeah. Something that can just get in there, blink stun, start a fight. I think that's what they need.
I mean, so you're not happy with that draw. That draw's not going to show up again.
Maybe the draw, but then in different combinations.
Okay.
I don't think they'll do draw.
They might have to ban it if they are not going to pick it, because VP is a team. They are not afraid to fight against draw, but they are not afraid to pick it as well. So it becomes very difficult to draft against them. First game you lose when you have draw, and then the next game, the first thing that comes to mind, do we actually ban it right now, or if you're not going to pick it, you want to ban it. If you don't, you don't want to fight it. So it's very difficult to draft against that.
Winter, do you think them picking Drow there was 100%? We are absolutely going to pick Drow, or do you think it was almost like a block pick against VP? Do you think they were thinking, well, we can take Drow, and it kind of stops them getting it as well?
A bit of both, because they like to play the hero too, and you don't want to fight against a VP Draw.
Yeah.
You don't want to fight against a VP anything.
Sure.
Well, we'll see.
That has to be. I know we've only seen one game, right? But we've already seen a stomp from a team that we said were exciting.
Yeah.
They've hit the ground running. Would be a good way to describe it. Did you get what you wanted? You got a big, heavy, no one in middle, showing us why he is considered one of the scary mids. In fact, you've already highlighted and sang his praises before, Winter. So my question to you, and I'll actually just give this one to you, Winter, is this the VP you were expecting to show up in Boston?
Yes.
Or is one game a little too early to say?
It's
one game versus NP.
But
surely.
that game showed a lot. They were really composed. They understood their timings.
Yeah.
They were close to no mistakes apart from the little kill as IO bottom lane against MSS. Apart from that, everything was picture perfect. They executed their strat. They understood their timings. They fought with the first blink. They won the fight. The game was over, like close to over after that.
The scary thing is they didn't show anything out of the ordinary in this game. So if you're like, what am I going to do against VP next? They have so much more that they can bring out that we've seen them do before, that they can easily win games with. This is a cookie cutter strat. Like this draft, give it to anybody and anybody will be able to do quite okay with it. And VP just a little bit better because they're VP.
The main difference would be the speed. Different teams using this strat,
yes.
but
they might be slower.
They don't play as fast as VP. VP are just very fast team.
Right. They're just absurdly fast. This has been described to a lot of CS teams. Hasn't this been like a descriptive tag attached to the Virtus.pros, your Empires, your Navis?
Or even the MVP, the Korean team.
Yeah, even that. I mean, I think it sounds like the draft is almost ready, so I do want us to start going in that direction, Shiva. We've already discussed that we're not going to be seeing the same stuff from NP.
Yes.
But Virtus.pro, I mean, they've found a winning formula.
Yeah, I would say, Virtus.pro, you never really know what they're going to do. But at the same time, do they want to show weird stuff? Because there's no elimination in this, in this group stage. So maybe they don't want to show what else they can do.
That's interesting that you say that, because I'm not going to say who it was. I was talking to one of the players in the tournament about the structure of the groups and the fact that nobody goes home.
Yes.
And I said, how much can you put into reading into the results in the group stage? He said the thing is, you're not going to show any strats, like you're saying.
Yeah.
You're not, because what's the point? There's not enough on the line for you to do that. And because it's single elim, you know that you will need to have a strat at some point that you've got to pull out to win games. So yeah, I think a lot of the time in the group stage away, the style we're seeing, it'll be kind of a bit more basic.
Cookie cutter Dota.
Yeah, they'll just go, this is a lineup that wins first in the past, let's do that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see VP take something like DK or something like that and just steady push and win the game.
So you're almost telling me we're going to see very vanilla Dota in this group stage. It's just
possibly.
Be
as vanilla as Dota can get.
Simple Dota.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Dota.
Simple, like CSGO.
Yeah.
Simple.
Hey.
the guy, not the game.
Giving me parallels. I wasn't sure if you were just jabbing CS.
No. I like CSGO. I play CSGO, for goodness sake.
Yeah, absolutely you do. So it looks like they are getting prepared for the draft. I am seeing notes, so hang on a second.